Hello, get to know me as I'm knowing you. I already mentioned my name in the last video. I'm not going to tell you my age. I come from a large family, wasn't going to tell you how many. Changed my mind, 17 in total, some here, sadly some not. With immediate family being 5 girls and 2 boys. I'm Ugandan by nationality, Muganda to be specific. I work in the care industry, though currently unemployed. It's very broad, covers elderly, children, etc. I'm sure you'll realize I'm reading from a script. I have to. It helps me not to mentally overwhelm. This month is a year since I lost my sole parent, my mother. I envisioned her being around when I got wed, so you can imagine how that would make anyone feel. The whole situation leading up to when she passed came as a surprise to me for various reasons, especially given, as I mentioned earlier, I work in care, so I know a thing or two on a professional level. I'm making my peace with God. I wasn't born in Uganda. I was born here in the UK. Left around 4. Lived in Zambia till around 8. Lived in Kenya where my father passed till around 10 or 11. Lived in Uganda till 23. Then came back full circle to the UK. I didn't proper start to learn my local language till I was about 11. I remember one time when I was living with my Senga, my aunt, after school. I must have been in primary 4 or 5. A small boy in bare feet, clutching his exercise books, came to me. He asked me, "Are you Nabulia?" I said, "Yes." "And you can't speak Luganda?" I said, "Yes." And he said, "Shame on you." Me, in my beautiful leather shoes and white socks bought by my dad in Kenya, felt as tiny as a pea. My slow, non-linguistic self, in the midst of all this and more, learned that language. I'm grateful I did, because on going back to Kenya briefly after my dad's passing, I realized I could buy vegetables, cabbage to be specific, from Kikuyu, roadside speaking vendors with ease. I could understand situations like a friend gossiping in Shona over the phone here. It opened doors in many ways that are lovely. I am single, not out of choice, probably out of recklessness. I can only appreciate what I am receiving, what I'm on the receiving side of. If a man doesn't love me the way Christ loved the church, his eyes are all over my 4 beautiful siblings, aunts, cousins, friends, the chika, all at the same time laying claim on me as his one and only. Wordless. That's what killed my mom. You can't bring laundry gifts for me and for the chika too. Single me out as one and only you die for. Yep. Single me out as the one and only you die for. I'm difficult to betray, you know. I am a difficult person to betray or cheat on because it will get revealed to me in a dream, Joseph style. As do many things that I at times don't even want to know or see. To prevent me from losing my marbles with these that I see, I took myself to a Bible school, plus. Cheating and everything else that falls in that negativeness has a drastic way it wears down one spiritually, physically, psychologically, and emotionally. It drains, especially where there's MI15 high-end secrecy involved. A lack of regular being honest, being open-hearted, you know. I just can't be someone who isn't, you know. I know men shouldn't speak their minds usually, but I'm realizing if I'm with someone and he does not tell me how he's feeling each and every minute, when God is just busy giving me download after download after download, it's better he be honest, you know. Even when he's feeling tempted to cheat, talk about it. Tell your spouse, I'm tempted to cheat. I need tweaking here, I need tweaking there. Let's make this work. Let's make this relationship work. Let's make this marriage work. This other type of, I don't know, this other mode of relationships, I'm realizing they don't work with me because I am somebody that go just download stuff that I do and do not want to know onto. So relationships work when it's with someone. I don't care whether he's in his, it doesn't matter what age group. Someone who's open. If he's a manly man, alpha man, keeps things to himself. And I'm realizing that may not be the type for me, because this girl, she's someone she's God's baby, You tell her everything. So even if you're tempted, because temptation is everywhere, if you're feeling tempted to, let's say, to fornicate, tell your spouse and tell her in detail and tell you what's the drive and then walk through it. I mean, there are so many, that's these days especially. I'm really very happy that in West Africa, especially, there are these deep marriage couple counseling sessions that are now on the rise, where they go deep, even into bedroom matters. And, you go there and you get, from a Christian perspective, help to make your marriage work. Because I can understand if someone is actually, a man is having something that's dragging him outside, some Delilah is more, is ticking the boxes. Some, what do you call it? Some, they're ticking the boxes. They're I don't know. We have all these rogue women in the Bible. Come on, they're ticking the boxes, and we as God's girls, we got to get a thing or two, a trick or two up our sleeves, and we can get this from these people who are coming with all kinds of help to really, both sides, shame aside, and make our marriages, our relationships work. But where there's this semi-15 high-end secrecy involved, forget. Just stuff I'm learning along the way. Just that was off script, by the way. Yeah. That aside, some of my siblings, relatives, live here with me, this end, while others whom I miss dearly live back home. One thing I can say about relocating to Europe is that you need to align yourself with the right people when you get here. A member of a globally well-known Ugandan gospel band wrote a whole lot about this. The choice you make will make or break you. Oblamubo wins Ogan Oktambla because of whom you choose. I'm sorry, I'm not going to interpret that, but you get it. Whom you choose. Yeah. Whom you choose. A few days before I came over, my mother placed in my hands the home address and contact number written down of the people whom we didn't know at the time were to become my pastors here. Would have shown you the notes, but it was stolen. That's a story for another time. It had been passed to her that day after work by visitors in the home of a single English missionary lady whose home she looked after. Shortly after I arrived, I confided in the pastor about the predicament I was finding myself in, which I was clueless about prior, which involved a basic task of staying at home and taking care of a baby. To which he responded that they, him, his wife, his family, the pastors, needed someone to stay with the family, look after the house whenever they weren't around. I turned down the offer, launched out on my own, off the back of contacts I had on me, whom God later separated me from and are currently doing well. I began a life of continuing to hustle for income for my family the way I used to in Uganda. This decision, putting me in a place of misalignment, for lack of a better word, cost me greatly. Greatly. It spurred me down tunnels I should never have gone, with no light at the end of them. Very, very long story for another day. Till the next one.